Ibzan Arroyo, thoughts on Stu and Bret Hart, and we'll throw Owen Hart in there as well.
Oh man, Stu Hart, man, what a hard. I don't. I knew him. I know of him and knew from him. He was the best man for Tally-Ho, Lord James Blears and his wife. He and Sandra Kovacs, and they were the three of them hung out in New York. They were working in the New York whatever territory. New York was in that. I don't know if it's pre-war or right immediately post WW2, but it was in that probably most likely I think post WW2 because that's when Tally got over here after he got pulled out of the water in that I told you the sinking story and that's how I think that's how Tally got to the States because he was on that merchant marine ship and he had wrestled in England and he had those ears that looked like like toes. So that he and that's where him, Stu, and Sandra Kovacs, Gene Kiniski's partner in British Columbia, where they hooked up together. So that's how I know of Stu and talking to Stu. Practical, frugal man. We used to do TV, some town in Ontario, up around, but it was obscure, small Canadian town, and I forget if we had a spot show after that or where we went that night, but we spent the whole day in that town. Gene Okerlund or whoever happened to be the MC and doing promos for all over all over the world, all over the country. And so there was a Chinese restaurant down the street. So, people ordering, they're bringing back orders and stuff. So the spare ribs. And then, people and guys aren't finishing their spare ribs. No, they're laying a pile. And Stu goes over and he's cleaning the meat off the spare ribs. Swear to God, right? He doesn't want this, he just eat the spare ribs, the sweet sour spare ribs. And this guy's a million, and he had oil and this and that, all that Upper Canada and stuff like that. But that's like I tell you, the son, Stu, the one who was with me in Japan. He just, we sat down. They had a breakfast for us. We were an early call that morning on the bus, had a long trip or early fair, whatever it was. But they had breakfast there. But the breakfast had been sitting out. Over easy eggs and bacon or whatever it was. And bacon had been sitting out since probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, maybe the night before. I mean, it was ice cold. And Bruce Hart, I think pretty sure it's Bruce. He just sat there and he just ate the whole damn thing. And nobody else, but that's the way they did it. As he's just in his family, he'd probably get whacked down in the dungeon if he did, let a plate like that go by. But that's the way. But that was Stu. He got me on the phone. I talked to him. Some businesses and stuff going by, and he loved Curtis. Because Curtis could talk to anybody and tell him stories, just entertain you for hours. As the big king, as he done, and he loved Curtis. Even though he tried to steal the territory from him. So that was he was content within his own world. He didn't have any peers, anybody that he's with. He was really worried about his family.
Did you ever see him when you went up there in 1989? Did he ever grab your arm and grip you and try and show you a couple of new holds, Tiger?
No. I was coming in and out, and he was still walking. I had to just talk to him. A Dynamite. I went to dinner. I had dinner up at the house there one night. The spaghetti dinner. I think it's Friday or Sunday. I forget which night it is, but they have a family spaghetti dinner night there with all. And then all Luther Lindsay used to tell But Tally always used to tell the story. He'd cook the eggs, the flapjacks. Had those big restaurant stoves, the kind you see the big black things, and cook all the things. And he'd kick it, and the cat came on, and cat crapped on the stove and picked up the thing, threw it out the window, and whacked the cat off the thing. Went back. Went back to flipping pancakes and eggs. But that, he must have come, his background, his growing up. I don't know where Hart, he came somewhere in Europe, but he was a toughest, He had some George Gordienko was up there a lot. And he's a guy I always mentioned with Robinson and Goss that doesn't get the attention that those guys do. I met him, I only come handshake. I didn't know him. I only met him a couple of times. But big burly fellow.
We'll forego the Bret Hart bit because we did an entire episode on Bret Hart. Did you know Owen well, or is it not sort of worth getting into? A couple of handshakes.
Met him once. I was I forget whose Hall of Fame. When did he pass?
1999, May.
Okay, so it must have been my Hall of Fame induction. And I was working out in the hotel gym, and he happened to be in there at obviously a main event match later on in the day, and hung out with him for a couple hours. Nicest kid, nicest guy, no ego, no funny, engaging, everything. It's a shame. You lose people like that, and you gotta, something was, everybody is deprived of, that type of entertainment, because he was, easily, doing what these kids are doing now, all the acrobatics, and he was doing that 20-something years ago, so he was, phenomenal. I've seen tapes of it, but meeting him, I've known him about a couple other times, at the house and different times going through, but I spent about 2 hours with him one time, and just great kid, great guy.
I should just correct you then. You were inducted in 2004 to the Hall of Fame, so maybe it was one of the old Hall of Fames in the mid-90s that you may have seen him in.
Yeah.
It was probably something like that.